I wanted to go all the way back to Ron DeSantis, an establishment Republican trying to make it in a MAGA world. As Trump's deputy campaign manager, David Bossie, put it, I put Ron DeSantis in the same category of defenders, both defending the president and being somebody who works best on offense to help forward the president's agenda. This isn't, like, scandalous, and it's a common exchange relationship between politicians and a president, and during this time, it proved to be an extremely smart move. Like, say what you will about all these caustic wads, they are definitely calculating, and we should not underestimate them. But unlike most presidents, there's a certain point of no return here that I think is interesting. Courting Trump's base wasn't something you could do non-committally, but rather a very hard line you'd have to cross.
Everyone knows my husband Ron DeSantis is endorsed by President Trump, but he's also an amazing dad. Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads stories.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He's teaching Madison to talk.
Make America great again.
People say Ron's all Trump, but he is so much more.
Big league. So good.
I just thought you should know.
Ron DeSantis for governor.
Extremely embarrassing. That's not like an SNL sketch, but an actual campaign ad Ron did in 2018. According to his close friend Kent Sturman, DeSantis figured out what made the president notice people, and he did those things. And I guess the key word there is did, as in Ron DeSantis would fully embrace the Trump way of doing things, all the way down to the racist dog whistling.
The last thing we need to do is to monkey this up by trying to embrace a socialist agenda with huge tax increases and bankrupting the state.
That's Ron talking about Andrew Gillum, the black man he was running against, which read to many as pretty fucking ghoulish given this country's long history of comparing African Americans to monkeys. Yes, that one is by cancel culture martyr Dr. Seuss. Damn that cancel culture, and damn the weird pronunciation of your name, doctor! DeSantis, of course, later claimed that the statement had nothing to do with race, but like, who casually uses the term monkey this up? Even in that clip, it sounds like he forced it into his speech deliberately, which of course is how a dog whistle works. But benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just uses and likes the phrase, maybe he was referring to Air Bud Entertainment's 2016 hit, Monkey Up. Either way, Ron would win this election and seek out issues that would also cater to the Trump crowd, casting aside actual problems in his state in exchange for solving pretend ones that further this bizarre culture war Trumpist bullshit. At one point, he signed a bill banning sanctuary policies, despite no sanctuary cities actually existing in Florida before the law's enactment. Just weird performative stuff. You can compare this, of course, to his Senate counterpart Marco Rubio's vague anti-wokeness bill, because obviously the pressing issue facing Florida, a state with rising homelessness and poverty and a failing infrastructure, are rainbow flag logos and diverse superheroes. Great job, Marco. Truly a man of the working class. And while I wish I could say that this type of extremely embarrassing pandering doesn't work with their base, well, I can't.
When you look at the Brandon administration in terms of what they're doing.
Oh my god, you guys, just say f*** Joe Biden. You can just say that. It's not illegal or anything. F*** him. F*** Joe Biden. F*** him. See, the common thing across the board here is that all of these people base their political careers on being extremely reactive. It's not about governing the people, but maintaining an opposition to the left. You can see this with DeSantis and Ted Cruz's Obama years, most of their actions simply being to repeal stuff the president was doing. This was positively vital to their careers, as evidenced by the time Chris Christie dared to credit Obama for his swift response during Hurricane Sandy and became a fucking pariah in his own party. You could, I guess, argue that we'd see the same reaction if a Democrat praised Trump, except the opposition to Obama wasn't like on moral grounds. With Obama, the right wasn't mad at human rights abuses or drone striking civilians. They just didn't like him and opposed him across the board. Marxist Obama! They stonewalled him out of spite, and it worked really well. And after they all accepted Trump as the new frontman for the GOP, we saw another shift. Republican politicians who knew that, at some point, Trump would no longer be the president, and could move in to fill his shoes. That meant not focusing on actual policy, but rather attempting to harness the cult-like base he collected with broad talking points. The culture war, anti-wokeness stuff. And the reason I keep going back to DeSantis is that, as it stands right now, he is the only conservative politician who Trump's base will consider for a possible presidential pick. In polls that specifically ask who voters will go for, in the event that Trump doesn't run, 22% said they would pick Ron DeSantis, although they probably thought they were saying Ron DeSantis. Compare that with any of the other names, none of which even broke double digits, with the exception of one candidate, a Mr. Unsure. Sounds mysterious. I like him. Okay, so those are very bad numbers across the board. And what it actually means is that post-Trump, this base actually has no idea who they'd go for, DeSantis being the only one they are remotely interested in. And I'm sure that will even change. After all, we're only a year past the election, and the running theory is that Trump will run again in 2024. He is certainly teasing it. Just the tip and such. Gross! But what if he doesn't run? It's not hard to imagine that he doesn't actually want to. Also, he's pretty old. I mean, not Biden old, but in Trump years, he's fucking 100. Dude does not take care of himself. For all we know, he's already been dead for years and is being piloted by a rat. Or, maybe he keeps getting cloned like in the hit movie Multiplicity. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.